Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have significant Gemini placements, then there may be a message in here for you. So Gemini, I'm getting a message for you as a metaphor where I feel like you're doing a lot of heart-centered healing is how it's coming through. So the metaphor that's coming through for you is if you like have seen in like public parks and things like that, where sometimes they'll like section off a part of the park so that there can be like just like natural and wild growth. Like they don't do any landscaping, they don't do any like maintenance or anything. They just sort of let that part of the park grow wild. So that's how it's coming through for you, Gemini, which is a really interesting message because I feel like there may be an aspect of your life or your heart energy that's sort of going through that sort of like growth energy where it's growing in a way where it's unencumbered by anything. There's no judgment. There's no like restriction or there's no like it feels kind of more like judgment, right? Like the difference between a weed and a flower, right? With landscaping, especially as a metaphor. But there's no judgment like that. It's like anything can grow. Whatever wants to come up can grow. That kind of energy. So it's coming through as heart energy, but it's also feeling kind of like inner child kind of healing is how it's coming through. Perhaps in a very creative way. It's also kind of feeling like... So, which is really interesting that there's no judgment here, Gemini, for whatever aspect of your life that this is happening or that kind of thing, where there may be other aspects of your life where you are doing a lot of like quote unquote landscaping or maintaining or like weeding or planting new seeds or something like that. But I feel like the focus is kind of coming through as being like the parts of your life, the aspects of your life where there's no restriction, there's no judgment. It's just kind of like whatever happens, that kind of energy. I feel like that's what's being highlighted for you. It's a very like free inner child kind of energy that's coming through. I feel like there's also something where there may be sort of like communication coming in for you that may be sort of, it feels healing. There may also be some sort of like clarification that's coming through, like something from the past, maybe a situation from the past where there was a bit of confusion or a lack of clarity, or like you just didn't understand how something played out or why it played out like that. And I feel like there's something of like clarity coming in for you that is also healing for you, Gemini. But you may have your guard up against that. So just keep that in mind. There may be something of like having your guard up, but again, it's one of those energies where it's like a part of the park has been sectioned off to allow for regrowth or something like that. That's how it's feeling for you. Okay. There's a lot of healing though that comes with that because like if we continue on with that metaphor, there's something like, so perhaps this has already happened for you or you're just in the process of it, of like, let's say like after I want to say after fire, but it doesn't have to be that intense. So there may have been something from the past where there was conflict or like destructive fire energies that maybe like that you're healing from. It could also be something of just like you're letting something grow. You're allowing something to unfold. And because of that, it's like, imagine if you have all of these sort of like native species that are growing and like other like native like insects or pollinators come back to an area. So that's how it's coming through. Maybe there's something returning to you in sort of like a heart energy where it's like it's returning to you, like you have pollinators or whatever, that kind of energy, because you've allowed something to grow or to flourish, and like there's more life and abundance coming back into a certain area of your life. That's how it's coming through for you, Gemini. And those energies are coming through as like lost wishes or dreams that are returning, or new inspiration, or like inspiration from the past, or like feeling very creative. That's how it's coming through for you, Gemini. I feel like and it's also coming through as like very significant exchanges with others, perhaps, as well. That might also be part of it. Because the Gemini card is sort of this energy, like, I'm using the Starcodes Astro. The Gemini card in this deck is like the bees, right? Like the bees are returning. They're pollinators. There's like an exchange of energy and information and things like that. And it's mutually beneficial. I feel like there's something like that that's happening for you. Like a mutually beneficial exchange that's going on. Juno, partnership. Interesting. So you may be focused on partnership, but I feel like there's a significant exchange that's happening that is very mutually beneficial. It could be more than one, right? Like it could be like just significant relationships in general. It doesn't have to be like just a significant person. But I'm very strongly getting that energy for you. Okay, the gift of this card is true partnership is a spiritual path. Its sacred acts are the practice of healthy relationship skills. These skills begin within. I feel like there's something as well about like developing gifts or growth, or like acknowledging where you can improve and how you are also like where your strengths are as well, and how that helps to benefit other people, and how you can also benefit from other people's strengths and things like that. So that's how it's feeling. Again, it feels very much like an exchange. There's reciprocity and working together. It's a very positive energy for you. You have Saturn structure at the bottom of the deck. Perhaps you're building something together, or you're working on that, or there's like significant lessons perhaps that you are learning together, you and another, or you and others in general. It feels more like there's a community aspect to this, but again, it could also be just with one other person, so just take it how it resonates. Of course, we're all connected, right? So it's never just going to be just something individually. I feel like there's I'm really just like drawn to this asteroid here in the corner, because of course Juno is an asteroid. Hummingbird and Lanker. This card came out in yesterday's reading as well with Aquarius. So you may want to watch the Aquarius reading. That's so interesting, because it was the first card to come out. So this card talks about like it's not time yet. It's not time yet for something. You're being asked to sort of like rest and build up strength until the conditions are right for you to start moving and things like that. So I feel like that's just a collective energy that's happening right now, Gemini, for you. So that's affecting your energy, that maybe right now is the time to sort of like rest, build up your energy, wait until the conditions are right for you to start flying, whatever that means. But it's kind of coming through as being like that energy of like part of the park has been sectioned off to allow for healing of the land, or healing, or like regrowth, or that kind of energy. That's what I'm getting for this. So there is a section of your life that is that energy that's sort of in rest, or protected, or sectioned off, like that kind of thing. It could be an aspect of your heart. Perhaps that's the partnership energy. Maybe there's some aspect of like your connection with partnership that's going through healing. It's been sectioned off, which is interesting. It's being allowed to grow. All intelligent tentacles with this octopus. Okay, I'm going to read that one. This one talks about like embracing all of your gifts and things like that. And you need all of your gifts in order to solve a particular problem. Okay, trust the knowing of your body. Contemplate the particular intelligence of all things. Pretend you know nothing and notice how that expands your curiosity and your perception. Octopi are extremely intelligent but do not have a central nervous system. Their intelligence is spread throughout their body. Imagine if your hand could make complex assessments and decisions without first checking in with your brain. That's how the tentacle of the octopus operates. It has its own smarts and its own curiosity. So get out of your head. Check in with the wisdom of your body. Unlike your mind, which travels in time, your body is anchored in the present, so it is your tool for being in the here and now. It is only in the here and now that we can take creative action and make positive change. Trust your curiosity. Open your mind to a process of exploration that will ultimately lead to insight and creative breakthrough. Let your curiosity guide you to new information, people, skills, ideas, and experiences. Okay. Okay, so it's about curiosity, but really in terms of like being present in your body. I feel like there's something of see how this octopus is holding this necklace here? I feel like your hands are really significant, like what you're doing with your hands may be a significant sort of indicator for you, or maybe there is something creative that you're doing with your hands that is providing some sort of intuition or something like that. But I feel like it's coming from like an expression of the heart. Okay, no, I'm not going to take that one because it didn't flip all the way. Okay, Gemini. The dark solstice sun. This talks about a pivot point, the beginning of something. And then you have every star doorknob at the bottom of the deck, which talks about like being open to limitless possibility. Okay, Gemini. There's something... Yeah, the ending, beginning archetype. Renewal is coming through for this. I feel like there's something new and unknown that's sort of on the horizon for you. But right now I feel like there's something about your body that's really important, being present where you are. There could be something that you're needing to go through, sort of like healing of It could be related to your body. It could be related to your energy as well. There's something that's wanting to go through healing there, though. A very significant exchange, though, is happening. Perhaps you're connecting with an Aquarius energy, because I'm kind of getting that maybe this hummingbird and langur is not you. It could be a collective energy, but it could also be someone that you're connecting with. Like, it almost looks like to me like you're giving this hummingbird a necklace. Because I'm seeing you as this octopus, Gemini. And you have 111 here, right? With the dark solstice sun and the hummingbird. So perhaps you're connecting with an Aquarius. It doesn't have to be, though, but there's something of like an energetic exchange that's happening between you and another. Perhaps you're entering into some sort of partnership, or perhaps there's some sort of whatever type of partnership this is for you. It could be romantic, it could be friendship, it could be work related, whatever it is. Or maybe you're giving something to someone to help them out of like something like that, or you're like giving them strength or something that's going to help them with their strength or something like that. But I feel like there's something sort of like new. So I'm laughing because this image is like I've been following someone on Instagram who is doing this like he's a potter, so he's making cups, and he's doing this challenge of like 1,000 cups, 1,000 cup project, where each project, or like he makes 1,000 cups basically. He's in the process. I think he's like on 30 something. And each cup is different, of course. There's a different design, and one of them looks like this, sort of has like, it's like chrome and spiky. I don't know why I'm thinking of that. There may be something of like a big project that you're beginning or starting. Like, it feels kind of like a creative project of some sort that you're engaged in. That feels kind of like a big undertaking, Gemini. This is just one aspect of it, perhaps. Okay, what's this hummingbird energy? I feel like that's not you, but it could be, so just take it how it resonates. Okay, what's this hummingbird in langur? The bat and hellebore, intuition. And what's Gemini's energy? Deceit, coyote. Very interesting. Gemini, why is that your energy? The snake starting over, and then the goat overcoming obstacles. The goat and willow, the snake and fern. Okay, Gemini. I feel like maybe there's a situation here where, okay, this deceit energy is throwing me off. Okay, there may have been a situation from the past where some sort of deceit or deception, okay, this might sound, just take it how it resonates, Gemini. Maybe there's a situation in the past where you got to know someone under false pretenses, is how it's coming through. Or like I don't know. It kind of feels like maybe you're wearing a mask or something like that, or this person doesn't really know you for whatever reason. It's like, I don't know why it's coming through like that. Just take it if it resonates. Again, you can flip the perspectives. It is a general reading. There may be a situation, Gemini, where maybe you weren't being honest with someone, or someone wasn't being honest with you, or there was just a lot of confusion about a particular dynamic or something like that, or that there was some sort of mask that you were wearing, whatever that is. Because with this octopus energy, I'm getting kind of like in Finding Dory, the sequel to Finding Nemo, of course, but that the octopus character, Hank, who is like this very like grumpy sort of octopus, but I don't know, there could be something of like a mask, Gemini. I'm not saying that you were like trying to deceive anyone. It's just that's just the energy of how it's coming through, where maybe there was something of fear, because that character has he's almost like agoraphobic, like doesn't like to leave the house, like that kind of thing. So, but his appearance was one of like sort of like this grumpy, curmudgeonly kind of character. But that wasn't really who he was, right? Like it's kind of coming through like that. Anyways, Gemini, I feel like there's something like that where maybe a mask that you were presenting as is being shed, right? Like how people perceived you, maybe. Whatever that is for you. And we all do it. It's not a judgment, again, Gemini, where maybe there was something of like a mask that you were wearing, or a way that you wanted people to perceive you in order to protect yourself. But I feel like there's something here where you are overcoming that here with the goat and the willow, because this talks to me about it's like overcoming the devil energy and starting over fresh. Like it's almost like you're making reintroductions to someone or something. This overcoming obstacles card is very significant, because I feel like there's something here of okay, so if it's not that situation where like you're wearing a mask, it could also be where there was someone else, or maybe you were dealing with sort of a devil energy. I don't know. I never know what to think when this coyote card comes out. Okay, it could be that you're overcoming some sort of devil energy, and I'm saying that as being sort of like patterns that are no longer serving you, right? Like that kind of thing. So whatever the devil energy is to you, it could be patterns that are not serving you anymore, like things that you're doing that are no longer benefiting you, that are harming you, where it's like, it could be relationship dynamics, could be like that, where there's certain patterns that are not serving you. You're changing your behavior, you're overcoming some sort of obstacle, and you're starting over. And there's a new beginning because of that. Perhaps in a particular partnership. Because it's something like where, like, I'm using the character of Hank from Finding Dory as an example, where he was curmudgeonly in like the best way possible that I can phrase that, right? Like he was, he didn't want to be bothered. He didn't want to be bothered by anyone, you know, grumpy, that kind of thing. But then by the end became very open and like happy and joyous. Anyways, I feel like this intuition energy, is kind of like a Dory character. Maybe there's somebody who's sort of getting you to come out of your shell a bit, Gemini. I feel like there's like some significant healing that's happening, but in a way where it's like you're overcoming some significant obstacles. Okay, you have Elk and Ash, Strength at the bottom of the deck, which is so interesting because I was just before this I was watching a video where it looked almost exactly like this, but the mirror reflection, it was a video of an elk standing just like this, like the frame was looking exactly like that, and there was a bird sitting on its nose and removing some sort of grub from the elk's face, and the elk was remaining completely still and allowing that to happen. I feel like there's something like that happening for you, Gemini. You have Happiness at the bottom of the deck, the ladybug. Okay. Ladybugs are very significant, like, pest removers from the garden, right? There's something like that. I feel like there's some sort of, like, pest energy being removed from you or from your energy in some way, Gemini. There's something like that, or there's some sort of like whatever that energy is for you. I'm just broadly stating it as like some sort of obstacle. Could be devil energy in whatever way that is, but it's being removed. Perhaps you're receiving assistance from another person in removing that energy. It's like removing like a grub from you. But I want to emphasize that it is mutually beneficial as well. Okay. Gemini. Yeah. The conjunction card, yeah. There's a significant union is how it's coming through. Like you and another are coming together, but this is a really beautiful card, of course, which talks about love, but is also one where it's like you and the other are different. You and this other are very different, perhaps, or like... Okay, one second. Let me just read it. Okay. During this stage, we witness the miraculous work of two opposites merging to create a unique third form. Sun and moon unite to reveal the entire cosmos. Black and white unite to reveal the spectrum of color. Conjunction represents a conscious and benevolent union, one that springs forth from awareness, acceptance, and devotion. It is not a compromise, but rather an activation, a holding of tension and presence that allows each of the entities to thrive and express themselves. Experiencing conjunction is one of the blessings of the human experience, whether the bond is with human nature or divinity. Recognize it by the stirring of your heart and an element of surprise. Through the opposites arises the infinite. Okay. Be patient and true to your heart. Do not be fooled by preconceived images of what conjunction looks like. Love is creative and therefore seeks new forms. Okay. So interesting. It seeks new forms, right? It doesn't have to be romantic. I feel like there's something here that may even be emphasizing a different or new form of love that may not be something that you are familiar with or comfortable, or let's just leave it like familiar with, right? It might not be romantic or like typical notions of love. It could be something else. So just keep an open mind, right? And be true to your own heart. What is it that you really need? It could be friendship, like true, honest friendship. It could be something like that. Whatever this partnership is, though, it's like a merging of opposites, but that there's no compromise and neither party needs to sacrifice or be something other than they are. There's no masks in this dynamic, and whatever this is, it's just like each person is who they are, and because of that, it thrives. Differences are honored. That's how it's coming through. Okay, it's really beautiful, Gemini. Okay, but I feel like you are overcoming obstacles. The Drowned King. Okay, this is this energy of deceit. Whether or not that's you or not, Gemini, I'm just going to leave it open. Take it how it resonates. There's an energy here with the Drowned King that talks about like an ego death. One that is very humbling, where I don't know, maybe you had to go through something like that, or maybe because it's sort of at the middle of the spread, maybe both energies had to go through something like that, where there was some sort of like humbling of an ego aspect, where like and the ego I'm talking about as being just sort of like the masks that we wear, the identities that we relate to, or like things like that. There may be something of like an ego death where what you thought to be true was not true, and that can be very humbling, like something like that. This is not an easy energy. I feel like this is what you are overcoming, but there's something here of like with this sort of, because this feels almost like this death process. Where it's like you're at the bottom of the ocean, you're at the bottom of something. It kind of feels like something where, like, again, I keep wanting to go back to that Hank energy from Finding Dory, where I don't quite remember what his story was, but it was something where it's like when he was in the aquarium, for example, it's kind of like he knew what to expect, right? But Dory wants to get back to the ocean, wants to return to her home and her family and things like that. And so I feel like there's a part in that movie where it's like he has to trust Dory and like accept that, like, I don't know, something that he was used to, or like perhaps fear, or like things like where I don't know. It feels kind of like surrendering, Gemini. Like you have to surrender or put your trust in somebody else, or something that perhaps feels very vulnerable. But in doing so, it's this sort of like very potent new potential, new beginning. It's almost like I want to say starting fresh, but starting completely fresh, like getting a new perspective on something. This doesn't feel like a bad thing, Gemini, because I actually feel like there's something of like, again, with that sort of like judgment. I feel like, okay, 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna go back to that example of like a weed versus a flower, right? That's a judgment where we're saying that plant is a weed. We don't want it in the garden, blah, blah, blah. Versus this plant, which is a flower, which we're gonna grow and nurture. But I feel like there's something here that is coming through as an ego judgment. The ego is saying that's bad, that's good. Whereas there's something here where it's kind of like nature doesn't make that judgment. Nature doesn't say that's good or that's bad. Everything is a flower. Nothing is a weed. That's how it's feeling to me. There's something like that coming through for you where you're just allowing things to grow. There's no judgment of good or bad, weed versus flower, that kind of thing. There's no judgment. everything, like differences are allowed to thrive. I feel like there's something like that coming through for you. I don't know in what way. Okay. Okay, so it says, okay, a huge blow to the ego. Just take that with a grain of salt, or like a little bit more. It's not a bad thing kind of thing. It's not a weed, it's a flower. Okay. When this card appears, there's a blow impactful enough that it causes one to turn their life around, prioritizing grace over greed, benevolence over brutality, sovereignty over selfishness. The Drowned King eventually resurfaces as a fully charged, benevolent being. Okay. The Drowned King prevents tyranny and redistributes power. We must all experience this energy from time to time to stay balanced. Wear it like a badge of honor. Okay, Gemini. There may be something, I feel like maybe you're, there's something about that line that I just read, a redistributing of power, where it's almost like Hank, the octopus, is giving Dory control over what happens, is how it's coming through. Like almost like giving the reins to her, or that kind of thing. There's something like that happening. So maybe there's something here, Gemini, for you, where you are like, almost like letting somebody else be in the driver's seat or something like that in whatever area of your life this is. It could be something like where it's like you're surrendering control to your guides or the universe or whatever. It's feeling very much like nature is taking over, that kind of thing. I don't feel that this is a bad energy for you, Gemini. I feel like I almost said Virgo there. There may be maybe the last Virgo reading that I did has a message in there for you. But it could also be Hermit energy. I feel like maybe there's something here of, I'm gonna say it's wanting to come through as devil energy, but not in a bad way, where it just is coming through as being like patterns, right? Like routines, structure, things that we're used to. It could be something like that, maybe that you are shifting out of, right? It's almost like you're changing a pattern that you have, or changing a certain behavior that you have, or changing something that you know, right? Like it could have something to do with partnership, or like what you believe partnership has to look like, or what you believe partnership should be, which may have been limiting your engagement with love, or that kind of thing. It may have been limiting you in some way. The last Capricorn reading also had a very significant emphasis on partnership, which is interesting. So there may be a message in that one for you as well. Maybe you're reshaping what partnership looks like, reshaping your ideas or beliefs about what a partnership has to look like in order for it to be this. I don't know. There's something very significant, but I feel like whatever that thing is that's changing, it was perhaps, this might not be you, Gemini. I know that I said that, but it's like, I don't know. The deceit, the coyote energy can be a trickster energy. It appears as something other than it is. I don't know. You're overcoming that, whatever it is. That's what you're overcoming. And the Venus card. The Venus card, which I love. Because in this description, it says, if the Venus card comes out, then love is clearly like a factor for you. Okay. Very beneficial energy. Okay. It has something to do with pleasure and pain. I feel like there's something like that. Emphasis on the pleasure aspect, because the pain is clearly here. But I feel like there's something about like, I feel like you're maybe, getting some sort of like new understanding about love and what it looks like for you, what it means for you. You have the androgen at the bottom of the deck. I'm just gonna skim through the Venus card to see what else might be there. Yeah, okay. So Venus is often depicted as romance or eroticism between people, but it can also be experienced as an all-out love affair with Mother Nature herself. Aphrodite emerging from the ocean is a classic example of Venus imagery, as is Cupid with his bow. No matter how old or jaded you are, when this card appears, it's a sign that attraction is at an all-time high. The laboratory is alight with love. You may be in love with the work, with the materials, with another person, or with the world itself. Seeing beauty in small moments is a sign Venus is in balance, an obligatory reminder that pleasure and pain are usually found intertwined. Okay. I feel like part of this Venus love energy required you to go through some sort of like humbling energy. That's what the drowned king represents. It's humbling. It's being humbled by something. Okay. Gemini. Getting emotional. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pull one more card from the Animal Apothecary deck. Yeah, okay. Almost there. You have the Almost There card, which I love so much. It's a reminder to be cautious, that everything that you want is like you're almost there. You're almost there, but remember, be cautious. Remember all of the lessons that you've learned up until this point, and have hope. Okay, and then this one, which says Nourish the Shadow. So I'm going to read this one because I feel like that's significant for you. And you also, if you just look at the numbers, you have 44 and 33, which are both master numbers. Okay. The jaguar represents the shadow, the subconscious aspects of ourselves we push away. Carl Jung says these aspects usually stem from situations we encountered as children that lead us to feel shame, unworthiness, and abandonment. We then live out these programmed beliefs as adults. Jaguar comes to speak to us about nourishing our shadow. In this image, we see her drinking from the well of wholeness. The well in this image, inspired by Jungian analyst Marion Woodman, is our place of nourishment and absolute wholeness. Water is where all life comes from. Without it, we have no vitality. Many of us ignore and starve our shadow aspects because they cause us so much pain. We push them away and deeply criticize them. We chain our jaguar shadow and confine her to the furthest part of the backyard of our mind. She howls and cries for nourishment, yet we still ignore her. In her banishment, because of the lack of love, her power grows as the master of self-sabotage. Ironically, if you would begin a relationship with her, you'd find that she is your greatest asset and leads to fulfilling your life's purpose. Funny that we instinctively banish her. Jaguar's medicine asks you to create a self-talk relationship with yourself and to ride the wave of hurt within. Every time a painful feeling arises, you must now tell yourself, I'm right here to feel this with you. I accept this uncomfortable feeling and I will ride it out with you. I'm here to feel this with you. If you do this, the emotion will always detox out and dissipate, leading to a much quicker healing. But you must be strong and endure the pain. Commit to riding the waves of emotion together within yourself. This is the nourishment your jaguar shadow requests. If you witness her, she will start showing you a new and indestructible power within. Your shadow is where your diamond lives. Okay. Gemini, it feels kind of like with this drowned king energy, you're doing like significant shadow work where there may be something that you're going through that is painful or that like has difficult emotions tied to it for whatever reason. Because it could be something where it's like there was deception or something like that. I don't know. Whatever that is for you. But there's something of nourishment that's coming through, like wanting you to nourish this aspect of yourself that is asking for attention, because that's where you overcome your obstacles, whatever they are. Okay, Gemini, I'm gonna leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.